So guys, welcome to our channel once again. In today's video, we have here these 20 questions to answer on the topic basic ecological concepts. So guys, this video will be about simple measurement of ecological factors. So in short, stay till the end of this video as this will be a very important one. So let's go ahead and start with the first question here. And the question says, soil permeability refers to A, the proportion of water the soil holds. B, how well water rises off the soil. C, the proportion of air in the soil. D, how easily water passes through the soil. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's how easily water passes through the soil. So let's consider the next question. Question number 2, it says, wind speed is measured with A, an anemometer, B, a hygrometer, C, a wet and dry bulb hygrometer, and D, a maximum minimum thermometer. So guys, the answer to this question is option A here, and that's an anemometer. So let's consider the next question. Question number 3 here. We have a diagram, and it says here, the diagram below is an illustration of an ecological instrument. So its advantage of the abiotic factor measured by the instrument is that it A, leads to flooding when in excess, B, is used for irrigation, C, is an agent of pollination, and D, is necessary for germination. So guys, actually the diagram you see here is a rain gauge. So it's actually used to measure rainfall, and one of the disadvantages of rainfall as an abiotic factor is that it leads to flooding when it's in excess. So option A is the answer to this question. Let's go ahead and consider the next question. Question number 4. The Tolgreen tunnels is used to A, measure the amount of rainfall, B, collect water from habitats, C, extract minute soil organisms, and D, pour liquid into containers with narrow mouths. So guys, the answer to this question is option C, and that's to extract minute soil organisms. So let's consider the next question. Question number 5. It says, the speed of wind is measured using the A, barometer, B, anemometer, C, wind vane, and D, photometer. So guys, the answer to this question here is option B, and that's anemometer. So let's look at the next question. Question number 6. Here we also have a diagram, and the diagram here shows an ecological instrument, and the question says use it to answer this question. The instrument is A, a barometer, B, an anemometer, C, a hygrometer, D, a wind vane. So actually guys, this is a wind vane. So option D is the answer to this question. Let's consider the next question. Here we have a diagram as well, and it's still the same diagram, a wind vane. The instrument is used to measure the A, speed of wind, B, air pressure in a habitat, C, turbidity of water, and D, direction of wind. So guys, obviously the wind vane is used to measure the direction of wind, and that's the answer to this question, option D. So let's consider the next question. Question number 8. It says the Secchi disk is used to measure A, turbidity of water, B, specific gravity of water, C, depth of water, D, speed of flow of water. So guys, the answer to this question is option A, and that's turbidity of water. Let's consider the next question, guys. Question number 9. It says, which of the following instruments is used to determine the turbidity of water? A, rain gauge, B, Secchi disk, C, hygrometer, D, hydrometer. So guys, like we've answered in the previous question, this instrument is the Secchi disk. The Secchi disk is used to determine the turbidity of water. So let's consider the next question. Question number 10. Which of the following instruments can be used to measure relative humidity? We have A, barometer, B, wind gauge, C, hygrometer, D, anemometer. So guys, the answer to this question is option C, the hygrometer. The hygrometer is used to measure relative humidity, and that's the amount of moisture in the air compared to the maximum amount of moisture the air could hold at the same temperature. So let's consider the next question. Question number 11. It says, which of the following is the correct method of collecting soil organisms? A, heating the soil sample in an oven. B, refrigerating the soil for hours. C, placing lighted electric bulb over soil in a funnel. And D, aerating the soil sample. So guys, the correct answer to this question is option C, and that's placing a lighted electric bulb over the soil in a funnel. So this method is actually known as Tolgren funnel method. The heat from the bulb will dry the soil, causing the organisms to move downward and eventually fall into a collecting jar placed beneath the funnel. So that's it for that question. Let's consider the next question. Question number 12 here. It says, which of the following instruments is not used in measuring abiotic factors in a habitat? A, wind vane. B, microscope. C, hygrometer. D, thermometer. So guys, the answer to this question is option B, that's the microscope. Microscope is actually an instrument that is used to magnify and see organisms out basically we may not be able to see with our naked eyes. So the microscope is actually a magnifying instrument and not an instrument for measuring abiotic factor. So that's it for that question. Let's consider the next question. Question number 13. It says, which of the following is the simplest method of finding the magnification of the drawing of a specimen? A, length of drawing over width of specimen. B, length of drawing over width of drawing, all over length of specimens over width of specimen. B, length of drawing over width of specimen, all over length of drawing over width of drawing. D, length of drawing times 2, all over length of specimen. So guys, magnification is usually length of drawing over width of drawing, all over length of specimen over width of specimen. And that's it for this question, and that's option B here, guys. Let's consider the next question. Question number 14 here. It says, which of the following instruments would be most appropriate in comparing the air pressure at different places in a habitat? We have A, air pressure disc. B, photometer. C, barometer. And D, hygrometer. So guys, the answer to this question is option C here, and that's barometer. The barometer is an instrument that is used to measure atmospheric pressure, and it can be used to forecast short-term changes in the weather, to determine altitude, and help create surface weather analysis map. So guys, it's actually the most appropriate in comparing the air pressure at different places in a habitat. So that's option C here. So let's consider the next question, guys. Question number 15. It says, the direction of wind is determined by A, a Sashi disk, B, an anemometer, C, a barometer, and D, a wind vane. So guys, the answer to this question is option D, and that's the wind vane. The wind vane is used to determine the direction of wind. So let's consider the next question. Question number 16 here. It says, which of the following instruments is used to measure wind speed? A, hygrometer. B, anemometer. C, barometer. And D, thermometer. So guys, the answer to this question is anemometer, and that's option B. Let's consider the next question. Question number 17. It says, which of these instruments can be used to perform an experiment on geotropism? We have A, photometer. B, kymograph. C, clinostat. And D, cup anemometer. So guys, the answer to this question is option C here, clinostat. A clinostat is actually a device that uses rotation to negate the effect of gravitational pull on plant growth and development. So it's actually used to perform an experiment on geotropism, and that's option C here. So let's consider the next question. Question number 18. It says, which of the following instruments is used to measure the speed of a stream? So we have A, rain gauge, B, Secchi disc, C, quadrant frame, and D, simple float. So guys, the answer to this question will be option D here, and that's simple float. A simple float is used to measure the speed of a stream, and this can be done by timing how long it takes the float to travel a certain distance down the stream. So that's the correct answer to this question. So guys, the answer to this question will be option D here, and that's it for this question. Let's consider the next question. Question number 19 here, having the same diagram. It says, when the instrument is in use, it is usually A, placed slightly above soil level, B, suspended on moving water, C, suspended in air, and D, placed on a table. So guys, the answer to this question is option A, placed slightly above soil level. When rain gauge is in use, it is placed above the soil level in an open space where there is no obstacle to prevent rainfall. So guys, the next and the last question, question number 20 here, says the maximum and minimum thermometer is used to measure A, atmospheric pressure, B, light intensity, C, highest and lowest temperature of the day, and D, highest and lowest amount of rainfall in a month. So guys, the answer to this question is option C, highest and lowest temperature of the day. So that's it for that question. This instrument actually is also known as the 6 thermometer, and it's a thermometer that registers the maximum and minimum temperatures reached over a period of time. So basically it's like a 24 hours stuff. And guys, that's all about this, and this is where we end this video for today. So guys, if you enjoyed this lesson, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're not a subscriber. Also, if you have any specific question regarding this video, you can drop your question on the comment section below, and we'll ensure to give you a response. So we also want to encourage you to join our YouTube channel community by hitting the join button below, and we'll see you right there. So thank you once again for watching this video, and see you on the next one.